Many people accuse the media of being too catastrophic and the message doesn't pass on to the public. Do you think the global footprint is a sexy way of passing the message or not?
We are a scientific organization that wants to promote accounting. Like we have accounting for money, we need accounting for resources. If we don't know how much we have compared to how much we use, we're really blind. And much of what we do right now is kind of vaccination against action, that we don't really take seriously what is needed.
You see it as not as a political action, but as a scientific action.
I think in some we have to get the science right, and we have to truly believe in it. So we talk about the wrong scale. But if we start to talk about cities or nations, a nation that is not ready for the future will just be dead. And I would invite any other country, every city to think about themselves and say, how will this city operate 50 years from now? Because if you want to stay within the 2 degrees Celsius, it's evident, everybody knows that we would need to move out of fossil fuel. Nobody says that. If we do move out, what's your plan? No country has a plan, a realistic plan that they truly believe in from a self-interest perspective of saying, that's where we want to get to. And that's the crazy thing.
If we have the habit of externalizing everything from waste to resources we get from abroad, do we get the realistic perspective?
Yes, I think because we don't externalize. Like we said, there was in Apollo 13, they sent a message back to Houston. What they really said was, Houston, you have a problem. Because if you look down on Houston, the city will not be able to operate without fossil fuel. Houston has a huge problem. So of course many things are externalized right now, but Houston is stuck with the infrastructure of Houston that is not fit for the future. If they don't retrofit in the next decades, it's going to be given up.
Do you like the word global problem?
The more we globalize problems, the less we can solve them. And I think we need to find the local manifestation of the global problems to solve them. We are in a situation like to say, oh, I have a hole in my boat, but I won't fix my boat until everybody else fixes their boat and agrees to fix their boat. What's up with that? I mean, so I think people are in this strange misconception that because there's a global dimension to it, that they don't need to act. Well, actually, because there's a global dimension to it, they have to act even faster because there's no other place to go. And I think that's a big confusion. So I think cleaning up some of the confusions is essential for media. We have a big gap of knowledge in how to run economies. I mean, we still think most advisors, 95% or more of the advisors of national governments are trained even as lawyers or economists with very little understanding of resource constraints. And so they only see the possibility of stability through continuous expansion. I even hear people talk about growth. Growth is a strategy. Growth won't get us there. Actually, growth in an overloaded world makes us poorer. What we have to talk about is prosperity. We want to have prosperous lives. And growth, the way we know it, may be undermining it, because most of the growth we have seen, particularly in lower income countries, comes from liquidating assets. We pump oil out of the ground, we think it's income. It's not income. We're poor afterwards. We sold our jewelries, we sold our heritage, so that's not income. And so this fixation that we still talk about green growth rather than green prosperity shows that many people in the community are misinformed. Portugal, please think about Portugal. Every nation truly thought about their self-interest, the world would be a much more stable place. Now, that's not true for individual. For my self-interest in a world that doesn't think about global survival, my self-interest is to amass as much money as I can so I can secure myself and my family. So I do exactly the opposite of what is good for the planet. But at the scale of a nation, at the scale of a city, the self-interest is totally aligned with global survival. A city cannot move, a country cannot move. It's stuck.